First, Theresa may well be relying on the votes of Democratic Unionist MPs to get her Brexit deal through Parliament. So let's talk to the party's leader in Westminster, Nigel Dodds, who joins us now from Banbridge. Thank you very much for talking to us today. As I'm sure you're very well aware, the EU's chief negotiator, Michel Barnier, is coming to your part of the world tomorrow. He'll be on the Irish border with the Irish Taoiseach and the Taoiseach. Have you been invited along?
Well, I think our party representatives have been invited. We have met Michel Barnier in Brussels. We communicate with him regularly, and we have made clear what our position is. He's in no doubt whatsoever about Northern Ireland's position as far as the DUP is concerned. And of course, our position is negotiated through the United Kingdom government, and we will be in discussions again tomorrow and during the rest of the week with our own government about the EU Brexit deal.
And your position is you're very, very clear that there can be no border across the Irish Sea. So you can't have Northern Ireland staying in any kind of regulatory alignment with the EU whilst the rest of the UK differs. Do you think that some of the proposed solutions for future trading with the EU after Brexit, like the idea of a customs partnership, that they solve the border issue sufficiently and that the EU will accept that?
Well, there's two different questions there. I think that the EU are in the position at the minute, along with the Irish government, of seeking to force the government's hand and try to bring pressure, even bullying, in terms of what they would like to see as the outcome, which is the UK as a whole to stay inside the customs union and the single market. The fact of the matter is that we will judge any proposals as far as the customs union is concerned against the criteria of whether or not it allows the UK to have as frictionless free trade as possible with the rest of the EU, allows us to do trade deals with the rest of the world, ensures that there is the economic integrity of the United Kingdom, and which basically ensures that we deliver on the verdict of the people in the referendum. But you're right to point out that at the minute, what is of concern to the DUP would be any suggestion that Northern Ireland would be hived off into any kind of special arrangement, which would be economically catastrophic for everyone in Northern Ireland, Remainer and Brexiteer alike.
Now, you say that you feel the EU is trying to bully the UK into staying in the customs union because they say there would need to be full alignment for the border to work in Ireland. But it's your absolute insistence that there's no divergence between the UK and the rest of the UK and Northern Ireland that's creating the situation where the UK has to even consider staying in the customs union. If you were simply prepared to allow there to be a little bit of divergence between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK, then the EU wouldn't be able to try and bully the UK into staying in the customs union.
No. I think that's a rather perverse reading of the situation. I haven't even heard the most ardent pro-Remainers in the House of Commons advance that particular argument. The reality is that even Keir Starmer, the Labour spokesman, said that no British government could possibly deliver on the kind of arrangement that the EU is seeking to put into legal language as far as the backstop arrangement. Of course, we're prepared to consider pragmatic, sensible areas of cooperation like the single electricity market, like animal health products on an all-Ireland basis. That is the current position. But no British government, never mind the Unionists of Northern Ireland, could possibly tolerate a situation where when you have 60% of the trade of Northern Ireland, all our sales going to the UK market, more than the rest of the world, the EU and the Irish Republic put together, that you would have this border down the Irish Sea, which not only would be constitutionally breaking up the United Kingdom at the behest of the EU, but would also economically be catastrophic, because as the years will go by, our economy would diverge more and more from our main sales market.
Okay,
anyone with any common sense realises that's a disaster, and that's a position that we have common with the rest of the Tory party.
In order to avoid there being a border down the Irish Sea, which you say is your absolute red line, could you therefore live with the whole of the UK staying in the customs union? So there's no divergence between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK, but we're all still in the customs union.
Well, that is a wider argument about the future of the UK as a whole, and we're prepared and happy to engage in that argument on the basis of the UK as a whole. Our position on that is that we don't believe that staying in the customs union is something that delivers on the verdict of the British people, because it means that we, as a country, are rule takers from Brussels, that we have to abide by the rules set by others.
But you could live with
we
it?
have no input into that. It means that our markets, let me finish, our markets would be accessed by others under trade deals which would be negotiated by the EU, and we wouldn't have any say in that, and wouldn't leave us free to negotiate the trade deals across the rest of the world. So we have a view on that, but our main concern is to ensure that whatever happens, the United Kingdom, the whole of it, moves in lockstep together as we leave the European Union.
So it sounds like you're saying you don't like the customs union, but as long as Northern Ireland and the UK are in lockstep, you could live with staying in the customs union.
Well, we're already in this customs union, the single market and the European Union, and Northern Ireland is part of the United Kingdom, so we will go, just as the referendum result. Northern Ireland voted as a region, differently from the overall result, but the overall result is what's matter, and the overall arrangements are what is crucial.
All right. Well, Nigel Dodds, thank you very much for talking to us.